A traveler lands after a long international flight. The baggage carousel begins to move. Suitcases start appearing one after another. Black suitcase, another black suitcase. The traveler spots what looks like their bag, grabs it, and heads toward the exit. 20 minutes later, another passenger arrives at the carousel and freezes. Their suitcase is gone. At first, they assume the airline lost it. But that isn't what happened. Someone simply took the wrong bag. And according to travel security experts, one of the most common reasons these mix-ups happen is something millions of travelers never think about: the color of their luggage. If you've ever stood beside a baggage carousel after a flight, you've probably noticed something. Most suitcases look almost exactly the same. The majority are black, many are dark gray, others are navy blue. From a distance, it can be nearly impossible to tell them apart. That might not seem like a big deal until you're tired, jet-lagged, rushing to catch a connection, or trying to get out of the airport as quickly as possible. Suddenly, every black suitcase starts looking like yours, and every traveler is convinced they've spotted their bag. Travel experts say this creates one of the most common baggage claim problems in airports around the world. People accidentally grab the wrong suitcase. Sometimes they realize the mistake immediately. Sometimes they don't discover it until they've already left the airport. Then begins a frustrating process of tracking down the other passenger, locating the correct luggage, and hoping nothing important is missing. For many travelers, the problem isn't that their luggage was stolen. It's that their luggage was indistinguishable from hundreds of other bags. And that's where a surprisingly simple travel tip comes into the picture: standing out. Most travelers choose black luggage because it seems practical. Black hides scratches. It doesn't show dirt easily. It matches everything. And it looks professional. But the same qualities that make black luggage popular can also make it harder to identify. Imagine 200 suitcases moving around a baggage carousel. Now imagine only one of them is bright red, or bright yellow, or bright green. Which one would be easiest to spot? The answer is obvious. And that's exactly why some travel security experts recommend choosing luggage that is easier to recognize at a glance. But identification is only part of the story. There's another reason security specialists talk about luggage visibility, and it has nothing to do with accidentally taking the wrong bag. It has to do with attracting attention, or more accurately, avoiding situations where a bag can disappear without anyone noticing. Think about it. If someone walked through an airport carrying a bright orange suitcase, there's a good chance people nearby would remember seeing it. The bag would stand out. Airport employees might remember it. Other passengers might remember it. It becomes easier to describe, easier to identify, and easier to locate. A plain black suitcase, on the other hand, can blend into a crowd of hundreds of nearly identical bags. Security experts note that items which blend in are naturally harder to track visually. That's why some travelers intentionally choose luggage colors that make identification easier. Of course, color alone won't prevent theft. No suitcase color possesses magical security powers. But travel security is rarely about one perfect solution. It's about stacking small advantages. Every small advantage matters, and visibility can be one of them. Now, before you rush out and buy an entirely new suitcase, there's good news. You may not need one. Many frequent travelers use simple methods to make existing luggage stand out: bright luggage straps, colorful luggage tags, distinctive ribbons, unique covers, anything that makes a bag immediately recognizable from a distance. The goal isn't fashion. The goal is identification. When your suitcase appears on the carousel, you want to know instantly that it's yours, not after staring at it for 30 seconds while wondering if that's the correct bag. The easier your luggage is to identify, the easier every part of the process becomes. But luggage color isn't the only thing security professionals discuss. Another common mistake involves expensive-looking luggage. Luxury suitcases have become increasingly popular. They're often well-made, durable, stylish, and for many travelers, worth every dollar. But security experts point out an important reality. People often make assumptions. If someone sees a very expensive suitcase, they may assume expensive items are packed inside. That assumption might be completely wrong. The traveler could simply own a nice suitcase and nothing more. But perception matters. The appearance of value can sometimes attract unwanted attention. It's the same reason experienced travelers often avoid displaying expensive jewelry, large amounts of cash, or high-end electronics unnecessarily while traveling. The less attention you attract, the better. Again, this isn't about fear. It's about reducing risk whenever possible. Travel security is often about simple habits that lower the odds of problems occurring in the first place. Then there's the question of soft shell versus hard shell luggage. If you've traveled recently, you've probably seen plenty of both. Soft shell bags remain popular because they're flexible and lightweight. Hard shell bags have gained popularity because they're durable and provide additional protection. Security professionals often note that hard shell luggage creates another layer between the contents of a suitcase and anyone attempting to access it. That doesn't make it impenetrable. No suitcase is completely secure, but additional barriers can discourage opportunistic tampering. Think of it like locking your front door. A lock doesn't make a house impossible to enter, it simply makes access more difficult. The same principle applies to luggage. Small obstacles can make a difference, but even the best suitcase can't solve another common travel mistake: packing important items in checked baggage. This is where many travelers create problems for themselves without realizing it. Imagine your checked bag gets delayed. Not lost forever, just delayed. Maybe it arrives tomorrow, maybe the next day. What happens if your medication is inside? What happens if your passport somehow ended up there? What happens if your phone charger, travel documents, or essential items are packed away? Suddenly, a simple baggage delay becomes a much bigger issue. That's why many experienced travelers keep essential items in their carry-on whenever possible. Documents, medication, electronics, anything difficult or impossible to replace during a trip. Checked luggage should carry things you can survive without for a short period. Your most important items should stay with you. And while we're talking about luggage security, there's one airport practice that often sparks debate: plastic wrapping. You've probably seen wrapping stations in airports. Workers cover suitcases in multiple layers of clear plastic. Some travelers believe this dramatically increases security. Others swear by it. But security experts point out that wrapping isn't a perfect solution. Airport security inspections can still occur. If a bag needs to be opened, the wrapping can be removed. Plastic may offer some protection against scratches and minor tampering, but it doesn't eliminate risk entirely. Like most travel security measures, it's just one piece of a larger picture, which brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. Most travel problems don't happen because of one massive mistake. They happen because of a series of small decisions: a suitcase that's difficult to identify, important items packed in checked luggage, no distinctive tags, no easy way to recognize a bag from a distance. Individually, each decision seems insignificant. Together, they can create unnecessary stress. The good news is that the solutions are often surprisingly simple. Make your luggage easy to identify. Keep valuables with you. Stay aware of your surroundings. Use common sense. And think about how your bag will look when it's surrounded by hundreds of others. The next time you find yourself standing at a baggage carousel, take a moment and look around. Count how many black suitcases you see. You may be surprised. And then ask yourself one question: if your luggage appeared right now among all those bags, would you recognize it immediately? Because after a long flight, in a crowded airport, with hundreds of nearly identical suitcases moving past at the same time, that simple difference could save you a lot of stress. And sometimes, the smartest travel tip isn't about where you go. It's about making sure your luggage gets there with you.